Pour Erik le Viking, voici Terry Jones. Only for You, auto-interview tournée avant la disparition du Monty Python. Grab Chapman, le brillant de la vie de Brian, Dieu et son âme.
Terry, what exactly did you do with the Monty Python team? I'm surprised you asked me that question personally. I thought you knew, but I mean, I directed Life, Brian, I directed Meaning of Life, and I co-directed Sacré Graal avec Terry Gilliam. Now, Terry, don't you think that the success of Monty Python came from what is visual in Munchausen and what is cerebral in A Fish Called Wanda? Oh, I'm sorry, just drifted off there for a few moments. Well, yeah, I think there is a bit of that in it. I think, obviously, there's a lot of visual stuff in Monty Python, and there's a lot of cerebral stuff, but I mean, that was John Cleese, you know, he was being clever all the time, you know. Mike and me, we just wanted to be funny. And Harry, what do you think of the work of the Beatles after they split up? John Lennon wrote some of the best songs ever after they split. I mean, I think Imagine is my all-time favourite, I think, of all those songs. Now, Terry, unlike Personal Services, Erik the Viking actually came from a book that you originally wrote for your son, isn't that right? Yes, I originally wrote this series of stories called The Saga of Erik the Viking for my son, Bill. But it was about 1983, and I thought, well, it might make a jolly good film because there's some good images in it. But after a while, I got a bit bored with that. I thought, well, you know, you've written it as a story, it's published as a book. I mean, I don't want to go and spend 2 years of my life turning it into a film. So I sort of abandoned the idea after trying it, a few scripts of it. And suddenly I found this rape scene, which is now the first scene in the film. And I'd written it for something else. And I suddenly found it in a drawer, and I thought, hey, that's quite a funny scene, and maybe there's a story there. So I suddenly wrote something that was totally different. So although it's called Erik the Viking, it's not the same as the children's book at all. I mean, there's no rape scene in the children's book. And I just used a couple of incidents, the dragon of the North Sea and going over the edge of the world. Well, Personal Services, of course, I didn't write for Bill. It was based on a true story. It was based on a story about Cynthia Payne, who was a real-life lady in London who ran this brothel in a very respectable South London suburb. Nobody knew about it until the police raided her one day. So Erik the Viking's kind of really me getting more onto the right track again. Now, Terry, imagine that I am a rich, famous Hollywood producer. How would you get $12 million out of me? Hmm? Oh, I'd try and get you into bed, you know, and see. But that doesn't usually work with most of them. So the next thing, I come along to you see, with this wonderful idea called Erik the Viking. And I've got Alan Lee to draw all these pictures, these nice pictures, because being a Hollywood producer, I know you can't read. So I show you these pictures and I tell you this story. And then ask if you'll go to bed with me, but not much chance, I suppose. And if I were a very lazy moviegoer, how would you sell this film to me? Well, if you were a really lazy moviegoer, I'd try and sell it you for £3, I think. Now, Terry, is it true that you gave the part to John Cleese in order to get money from Scandinavia? Hmm? In fact, I didn't want to give the part to John Cleese at all. What happened was John offered to be in the film if we really were sure, if we couldn't raise the money. And I said, no, I don't want any Monty Python references whatsoever. And then about a month later, I read in one of our awful English newspapers an interview with John Cleese in which he said that he was going to play a part in my film. So I had to offer it to him after that. Well,